set my time based on the time that I'll be available, but something happens and it gives me a wrong hour booked. So guys, let's travel into this drama in the government. Now, is expected to protect its people, enhance law, and seek responsibility of the citizens while it restrains from extrajudicial callings. However, of late, the Kenyan government seems to have laid us down with a lot of violations of human rights, using extrajudicial forces and planning behind our, our faces, some very wrong moves. Yeah, so of late we've had a lot of news talking about why this and that. Now, yesterday we just had another unexpected news from the government as IG Lagat was let free. Now, many people expect that he was supposed to be the first on the list of the 6, maybe the 7th on the list. However, it has happened that he has been left scot-free. So do you think the family feels justice, or Kenyans at large? Now, 25th, there is a promise of a whole demonstration picketing from the young people. However, the government has already labeled it illegal. So guys, as we get down into the inside of government, let's get to see the wars within. You realize that we have a lot of wars, maybe between opposition and the government. And after broad-based government was formed, of course, some people feel like they were left out. So let's just take a very limited time to dig into these ironies that we've met of late. It's not only Gachagua that is actually facing these confrontations with the government, but we still have so many other leaders feeling unfit in the government or feeling that they should be out. We always say in Kenya, masaa machache muda masaa machache na kazi nyingi. So there's a lot of work, but time is limited. So no wonder Kenyans are pressed. Another thing, as I've always told you, the Kenyan economy situation is on the worst, with the many people making hardly anything to live for. And even the civil servants, they don't see a reason to work hard, because whatever they earn is not enough to inspire them into working. Yeah, so guys, ladies and gentlemen, let's dig deep into the expectations of the 25th of June 2025. We're expecting demonstrations, which of course have been already indicated as illegal. Yesterday, you saw clearly in an interview one of the leaders giving a clear picture that this is illegal and people should be at work. There should be no demonstrations. However, I remember a lot of Gen Z perished during some time, and it was indicated that this will be a day to commemorate. Now, the opposition, of course, which is a new party formed by Gachagua and his allies, is out to ensure that the demonstrations proceed, but the government has stepped at their feet and they're indicating there is no demonstration. Now, let's get to see the fact that goons are being hired and they are getting to the city to disrupt. Chitrakala Rokaya, are you there? You are there. What do you mean? You are there. I didn't understand. Maybe you can actually... Hello, my comment. You are there. Dankar Yon says hello, hi. Chitrakala, hi. So let's proceed into this government analysis, and of course, we won't take a lot of time. Now, I looked at this. Let's start from Balindway News and the indication that Kamket had paid bandits to come into the city and kill the Gen Z. That is the streaming news from yesterday. So Gashagua's allies have exposed this kind of truth. And that's why we are saying there is war in government, not from within only, but even from outside. Let's look at this shortly and listen to what he says here before we proceed.
Mambo ya taifa, uchunge usiwe mtu wa kulete vita katika nchi yetu ya Kenya.
Okay, so Chitrakala Rokaya is from Nepal. How are you? How is Nepal?
atalete
And your
bandits
name is Dilip
Nairobi
Kumar,
na mabunduki
Nepal.
na bado hajashikwa mpaka saa hii. Hakuna sababu jamii zingine zote zisiseme hivyo. Kunayo imegionda ya unjoli. Si tunajua kulete bunduki, si tunajua mali na Kamuketa na nunuaga. Na kwa nini sisi hatujasema hivyo? Na hiyo maneno imeachiwa ni kama hakuna kitu imesemekana.
Yeah, so guys, the reason why I'm saying there is war in government, you can see here a leader talking about the payment of bandits. Yeah, you've heard of goons invading the Nairobi city and killing a lot of people. Have you heard of that? Chitrakala Rokaya from Nepal. My name is Prissy. I come from Kenya, and that is why I'm talking about Kenya. All right, you are bear. I do not understand that statement up to now, Chitrakala anyway. But you're welcome. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. If you've not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing so that I grow together with you. Subscription is free. So guys, take some while and subscribe to the channel and give me a like. That's what I miss here. So guys, you've heard from the Gachagua ally here, Secretary Seki, exposing the government and with some individuals. Yeah, individuals who are paying bandits or goons to kill individuals from the city. So these are very sad news, and no wonder I'm talking about the fact of battles in the government. So if some people can hire, you know, like they can bring firearms and give to the young people so that they attack. Now, in one of the considerations, I'm going just to play a clip here. I won't bring the entire of it, but I'll bring something to do with what the leaders are actually doing in Kenya. Let's listen to this.
The price of poverty, and I know the people.
Yeah, so I'll be playing something here to just supplement what we've heard about Kim Kat. Yeah, so here there is a claim that Sakaja has been hiring goons. Let's listen to this.
So I'm a boy.
Yeah, thank you. I've seen Andrea Blucher, the other name Collins. Welcome back from all the way in Sydney. Yeah, thank you so much. And Chitrakala Rokaya here from Nepal. Yeah, thank you very much for your commendations or comments. So let me focus on the discussion here. You actually hear that Sakaja, currently the governor of Nairobi, has been hiring goons and bringing in the city whenever we have demonstrations. So instead of picketing, then we get to have this chaotic kind of situation where vehicles are banned and all that happens in the city. Now, I want you to also listen to another leader here and understand my topic of the day currently. Now, I hope you know this leader here. So as I'm going to show this currently, just look at this.
The Finance Bill 2024 which proposed
Wanatoka maandamano, wanaingia KFC kukula kuku na minofu.
The Finance Bill 20.
Yeah, so guys, that was for 2024. And of course, we understand that with tomorrow, 25th, it's just like a commemoration, historical commemoration of the situation that happened in the country. So as we wait for tomorrow, what's going to happen? Now, looking at the so many newspapers, there is a lot of contempt for the leaders, just because of what is happening. Andrea Blucher says, I liked the live. Thank you very much. You're welcome. You're always welcome here. And I like your support. You're very supportive. I appreciate that. Chitrakala Rokai I also appreciate, plus the many people who are in the house. And we had Dankar Yon, yeah, and so many others who will be coming on board. So, guys, help us have this discussion about Kenya and what is actually happening. The divide among leaders and finally affects the grass. Yeah. So when we as Kenyan citizens feel that we are going to suffer if the leaders will continue with their battles, and after all, I always say it's only the forest that changes. The monkeys are the same. So the leaders remain the same. Change, and I mean here the parties. Now, when you look at Kuria, for example, yesterday, what he said, I'm going to show you something about what he said. But before that, I want you to look at these titles here in Daily Nation. And of course, it's not only Daily Nation that is been giving titles that shake the world, but we have Standard also. Now, let's look at this. So we have titles such as the warmongers, and you can see the faces there. There is another one, anxiety in key cities over Gen Z demos. Another one is Ruto crisis inside debt burden. Tuko tayari, so those are Kenyan citizens ready to demonstrate. State eyes extra 129 billion debt for housing project. I don't know why they even got into this thing. And we've seen Kotu leader, yeah, Kotu leader tried to tell us something, yeah. So I don't know. There's an alarm that is actually coming up, and I don't want it to disrupt my live. So guys, you can see these titles. There is another one here, exposed. Yeah, and as we go, or rather delve deep into this, guys, that many leaders, some of them are confused whether to be in the opposition or with the government. Some are in the government, but they still complain about the government. Yeah? So let me just check something here. So guys, I listened yesterday to another presentation by Herman Manyoro, and he was indicating that do not expect that the Gen Z will sit and relax. And I saw this, the Gen Zs indicating, or rather promising, that they'll still go to the streets. And if the police decide to attack, they'll also attack. You see, it's like the citizens, or rather the Gen Z, are not going to give up. Yeah. Now, why are they angry? They are angry because of some leaders and the kind of comments they give. Now, I want to bring you to at least maybe 2 or 3 leaders here. And even the results of what happens when they expected another thing, something else happens. Yeah. So, for example, in Kenya currently, with the case that was ongoing on Ojwang, it was expected that Lagat, IG, is among those who will be put down. Now, I want you to just listen briefly at some statements like Karen Nyamu here.
Flag that points at the intentions of the officers who arrested him. As we speak, police officers concerned have been indicted. What that means is that as much as they will not continue to carry out their duties, they will continue to earn half their salary. Mr. Speaker, that is dancing on the grave of that young man. We want those police officers implicated discontinued from police service immediately. We want them to take a plea. We want them to be charged. And the complainant, who is a DIG of police, we are very disappointed. We are embarrassed that you are so intolerant. Mr. Speaker, right now I am trending because I goofed, maybe, by politicizing the matter. But I cannot fathom getting such anger to an extent of even trying to be vengeful with anyone who is trolling me, for example.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, as we discuss this issue of a lost soul.
So guys, you can see Karen Nyamuya is trying to defend herself. You know, at first she had given a statement that was quite controversial. And I think she had to stand up in parliament just to work against it. So she was proving that regardless of people, trolling against her for goofing around the matter, she cannot attack them or revenge. At the same time, we had another
Pastor Martin Nyamola from Germany said,
Karungo Thwangwa here.
first they came for the socialist. I did not say anything because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist. I did not say anything because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I did not say anything because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one to speak for me.
Right. Now, when you listen at what Karungo, for those who don't know Karungo, let me just show. Yeah, Karungo here, Thangwa, was trying to talk about the police who killed Albert and the police who had said that Kiomburi had abducted himself. Yeah? So Karungo is trying to prove that sometimes mukuki ni tamu kwa nguruwe, but kwa binadamu ni mkali. You know? Like, that is a Kiswahili saying, which means that sometimes the pain that goes to others seems to be so good until it gets to us. Now, what if you look at the situation of where one of the leaders, of course, had an abducted kid? If I remember the name, I'll be mentioning it here. So later on, of course, he had to resign from the government because he indicated that the people who arrested him were connected to the president and they had to call from above before they released his son. And he really attempted to reach his son, but it couldn't be possible. Now, the divide I'm talking about, if you look at the demands here, if you look at the demands here, I want you to listen to one of these leaders and what he says. Of course, here, Didmas.
Because they have a constitutional
Didmas Baraza,
to
for those who
protect
know him,
life and
a very
property.
controversial,
But in light
worthless
of doing
leader.
what they do, many of them have lost jobs, many of them have been jailed, many of them have faced. We need to mature our processes. A DIG and a police station. A DIG is a very senior person. When a DIG makes a complaint in an OB book, I have had people asking why that gentleman was transferred from Homa Bay to Nairobi. When you make a complaint in Malindi or in Isiolo, even if the suspect is in Tanzania, that suspect must be brought to the station upon which the report was first filed. And I think if there is a gentleman that...
So guys, are you seeing that battle? Well, Karen Nyamu has insisted that they were supposed to book Ojwang somewhere in Homa Bay. Didmas Barasa, the controversial, selfish, worthless leader here, who is always not ready to help the citizens or stand with them, but stand against them. And of course, he is willing to go for governorship of Bungoma. God forbid, because if he doesn't change, if you look at that, then you understand clearly what I'm talking about here. The divide among the, even on ideologies, right? The ideologies that these people hold, you never understand whether they are reading on the same page, right? Now let's get to another incident that I'm focusing on here. I'm looking at something different here that has given me a different insight. Now, yesterday, as the list of those who are guilty came out, this is what happened. Let me just play it.
Central Police Station OCS Samson Talam and 5 other suspects accused of murdering teacher Albert Ojwang on the night of 7th and 8th June between 9:30 p.m. and 2 a.m. at the Central Police Station were arraigned moments after the Director of Public Prosecution approved murder charges against them. You want me to get for you one? We don't have one. Accused of murder include interdicted Central Police and police officer James Mukwana. And
now, of course, let's look at the list. Let's look at the list of those who have been charged of murder case. Samson Kiprotich Talam as the first accused, of course, the OCS. We have James Mukwana, who was at the police station then, second accused. Peter Kim, third accused. John Gige Kitau, fourth accused. Gin Amito Abwao, fifth accused. Brian Mwaniki Njue, sixth accused.
John was killed. John Ngege Gitau, Jean Amito Abwao, and Brian Mwaniki Njue, the six, were charged with murdering Albert Omonde Ojwang, contrary to Section 203 of the Penal Code. The investigating agency, Independent Policing Oversight Authority, which forwarded the file to ODPP for review, says there is watertight evidence against the accused.
If we take the investigation to Director of Public Prosecution, you refer back again the file, fill this gap. But I think what we have been able to do, we have a watertight case to those we are
So
taking.
guys, so the indication is that they have watertight case. But the question of many people, including even some of the leaders in government, is why not IG Lagat? Why has he been saved? You know, that's a question many people are asking. And of course, there's a time Gachagua indicated that Lagat will be saved because these junior officers take command from above, not knowing that the nail will point at them. So Gachagua addressed this matter of Lagat. Excuse me. Let me just check something here. Let's check this one.
With this AI tool, you can turn your story into a beautifully illustrated children's book.
And now former Deputy President Gachagua and leaders who accompanied him raised concerns over IPOA not producing a clear report on the case involving Deputy Inspector General.
Jinga ati kwamba bunge imepitisha hiyo finance bill kama Wakenya wamenyamaza sasa hivi. Mimi ningependa kuambia Ichungwa kwamba usidhanie Wakenya kunyamaza ati hao ni wajinga. Wakenya wamenyamaza.
So let's look at this.
The general
On accusations, he was accused of ABCD. Fine. Sema Kinoti aondoke. Huyu Lagat has been accused of very serious things, murder, through torture. This is the third week. You are still protecting him and interfering with the investigations. And then you accuse other people of being tribal.
Amesema kwamba
Right, so just shortly we've seen Gachagua with his allies, of course, Malala and the team. And what they are trying to show here is that IG Lagat is not free. However, yesterday we got a IPOA report, and he was free, just as Gachagua had indicated that he will be let free. Now, from the indications from a discussion round the table, it is clear that Kenya has forgotten about the rights of the people.
Rights defender. I mean, if you look at just the past,
heading towards the right way, because when I witnessed the whole scenario of the gentleman who was shot during the mandamanos, you could see that these two police officers actually confronted him, then left him, then came back. And then you get to wonder what went on at that point. Because they had seen the guy is not a threat in any way. But they went and talked to each other and then they came back. As if to say, we need to do something. Right? The first instinct was to achana na yeye. Let's leave this guy alone, he's not a threat. Let's go on and continue with our patrols. But they went and talked to each other and then they came back and then they shot him. As if to say that, hey, there's something that we were supposed to do and we have not done it, so let's do it right now.
Because I didn't like how you expressed.
okay.
So you see as a system where there's need for an overhaul, and specifically we need to start looking at how are we going to implement the provisions of the numerous reports that have recommended several reforms to be undertaken.
Shortly after the break. For asking for time for investigation, but all we are asking for, even in this investigative process, because it is part of the law, it forms part of the law, and you see, until you are found guilty, of course you're presumed innocent.
Yeah, so guys, looking at these cases and the discussions, it is very, annoying. And I just want us to get to some insider story of 4 young men who were handcuffed, executed, and the police did not tell the truth. If you've watched around, you've seen the murder tapes on Nakuru is it Nakuru Matters or something like that? Yeah, so
boys after they were shot. This is a photo of Collins Kibet and Collins Kip Korir. The two were shot dead inside the small house while in handcuffs. This is Dennis, who was shot at the front side of the house. What you are looking at is a photo of Kevin Kipyegon, the 20-year-old who told his killers, a team of criminal police officers, to kill him next to his mother's grave. These are the men that Peter Mwanzo says were killed in a dangerous shootout. These are the men that Mwanzo says.
Yeah, so guys, if you followed that story, you understand what happened with Mwanzo, who was now in charge of Nakuru, allowing the police to kill the young men in a cold blood. One who had just come from Kericho and stayed 2 months with the other young men from this environs. Now, up to now, the family has never got justice. Now, when such stories come up in this year when people are frustrated, what do you think? Now, let's get to a different story. I think I've delved into the other, but there is something. Somebody was giving some information here. Of course, remember, CS Kipchumba Murkomen said that constitutionally he had no power to transfer or dissolve IG. And now he's free. And from the expectation, he's not just going to be the deputy, or rather whoever it is, but he's going to be in charge of bigger moves. So let's listen at Gitonga Mukunji opposing something here. Now, let me play this. I don't know why it's still silent, regardless of me having placed the... I thought audio playing. There's no voice. So ideally in this, I wanted to show you how Gitonga has criticized the aspect of Eliud Lagat. Let me see whether this one will play. Still silent. Yeah. So, of course, MP Gitonga Mukunji has criticized the Embu County government for failing to account for the impact of budget on residents. And, of course, we are going deep into this. We have also seen Boni Halwade, who said clearly that IG should resign. And of course, from his belief, he said he has no personal issues, but of course, from what citizens thought, that's what I think he thought about. Now, let's play another shocking news that trickled in yesterday.
With this information today, my brother Cleophas Wahungu Malala, I don't know how I should put this forward to you, or rather reveal it to you, but my brother, I think I have to. The government of Kenya is planning an assassination on you. My brother, please believe me. We have information from qualified sources, from approved sources, that the government of Kenya is planning an assassination.
Yeah, so guys, that is the way. That is the way. The same government that is trying to protect and ensure that extrajudicial killing are not going to happen is planning an assassination for Malala. Now, remember, it's not just Malala who is saying this for the first time, but we had Gachagua complain of the same. We also had a situation of abduction, which people claimed was self-abduction of Kiamburi. We don't know how true that was. We also saw Wamchomba facing some threat. So up to now, we can't tell what is what. But from the murder tapes that I've just shown you, I don't know what you would believe. I don't know. Now, yesterday there was a funny claim, a very funny claim from one leader.
Rivaling Museveni with his 98%. So
For 2027, Kuria foresees a similar scenario.
there's some people who are doing exams, who are doing practice for a football match that will not happen. There will not be that kind of content. There's not going to be an election in 2027 for presidential.
Say that again.
Yes, there's not going to be a contest.
The fintech says that this
So guys, Moses Kuria has claimed that there's been no election or context in 2027. What do you think about this? And this is going to raise a lot of battles, war within and without the government. Hello? So it seems I have to call later. It was a very important call from the University of KU, so I would call later. So let me proceed and finish whatever I was doing. Now, the attacks in Parliament, one of it was Kimani Ichung'wah addressing Natembeya. I don't know if you heard about this.
And also, Honorable Speaker, sectors in which those counties were at the advent of devolution, most of them are still in the same state. So you have to ask yourself, where is all this money going to, Honorable Speaker? When I listened to the Vice Chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee speak and allude to some counties, like his county in Trans Nzoia, I couldn't help but imagine these are the same governors who, when they are accused of corruption and EACC summons them to appear before them or they are arrested, they mobilize goons to even ban EACC and police cars on account of being asked to be accountable of the money. I'm saying this, Honorable Speaker, because these accounting officers in county governments, our governors.
I think you've heard of that. You've heard of that. Kimani Ichung'wah addressing Natembeya. And of course, it's not the first time he does so. He had done that earlier, right? He had done that earlier in a funeral in Bungoma. Now, let's also look at Millie Odhiambo and Wamchomba.
Properly dressed because she's adorning party colors. She's wearing yellow, her dress is yellow, her shoes are yellow, Everything about her is yellow. Is it appropriate to wear party colors in the house? Because she's adorning UDA colors, Mr. Speaker. And it's against the standing orders of the house. I'm focusing on Wamushomba.
Order, Wamushomba. Nobody has invited you to say anything. Order, honorable members.
Wamushomba in the whole house. Yet behind here there is yellow colors. Even our seats have yellow. Yes, the emblem has yellow. I don't know, why are you so particular about yellow? Why are you so particular about this wonderful lady who is in black and yellow? It is because you know I have come here to dissect the finance bill and protect the wish of the Kenyans who you have refused to talk for. That is why.
Guys, the finance bill 2025-2026 has not really been addressed a lot. And you can actually see that people were, were blindfolded by Ojwang's death, and not much was talked about here. Now let's...
Wednesday's planned Gen Z protests will mark exactly 1 year since over 6 young people lost their lives in the deadly gangs roamed through the city, unleashing terror with reckless abandon. In some areas, they were spotted fueling their motorcycles in the presence of police officers.
As we end this discussion, because we always want to see what next. So we pray that our leaders transform and focus on the welfare of the country, the welfare of the citizens. We also pray that the police use the rightful force and apply the law instead of using personal, emotional, and all those aspects. My other prayer is that leaders stop fighting as they crush citizens under their feet. Adios. We will have another discussion on a different topic. Thank you.